Hey, it's Gems. Tonight, we return to a story that hasn't finished. A story of love, loss, and the unexpected turns of the heart. Sometimes, even when you think a story has ended, life whispers another chapter. Tonight, we explore what happens when hope fades, when hearts break again, and yet, somehow, still find a way to survive. So settle in. Close your eyes if you can. Breathe slowly, and let the night carry you through what's coming next. This is the unfinished story, Part 3. It had been almost 2 years since Maya left. The train bridge, the notebook, the nights, they were all still there, like shadows that refused to fade. Evan walked past the familiar streets at midnight. The streetlights flickered above, casting long reflections on wet asphalt. He had told himself he was done thinking of her. He had built routines, filled his days with work, avoided loneliness as best as he could. Yet the night had a way of undoing all his defenses. Every shadow seemed to whisper her name. Every wind that touched his face reminded him of the way she used to laugh. He paused at the corner where their favorite cafe used to be. Empty chairs, cold tables, but the scent of coffee lingered faintly, as if the past itself had refused to leave. And then, for the first time in months, his phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "I'm back. We need to talk. M." Evan froze. His heart pounded in disbelief, fear, hope, and anger colliding in a storm he hadn't felt in years. He wanted to ignore it, delete it, pretend it was a mistake. But curiosity, and a part of his heart he thought had died, wouldn't allow him to. For hours, he stared at the message. He replayed it in his mind, wondering why she would come back, why now, after all this time. Sleep refused him that night. The river, the bridge, the city lights, they all seemed sharper, as if aware of the storm brewing in his chest. And somewhere, deep inside, he realized this was not the closure he had hoped for. This was another heartbreak waiting to happen.
Evan couldn't sleep that night. Every corner of his apartment seemed alive with anticipation. The soft hum of the refrigerator, the distant city lights, all echoed Maya's presence that wasn't really there. He read the message again. "I'm back. We need to talk. M." The simplicity of it, it was terrifying. It was tempting. It carried years of questions and a lifetime of unresolved memories. By dawn, Evan had made a decision. He would meet her, not for closure, not even for answers, but because some chapters demand to be faced. The cafe they had both loved was still closed that morning, so they agreed on the old train bridge. Evan arrived first, heart pounding with a mixture of fear and longing. The mist from the river clung to the railing, making the world feel fragile, like the delicate threads of a dream. He didn't hear her at first. He didn't want to. He wanted to prepare his heart for the unknown. Then a shadow moved across the mist. Her hair, faintly illuminated by the early sun, fell across her face. Maya. She looked older, but not changed enough. Her eyes still held the same depth, the same warmth, and the same sadness. Evan's chest tightened. He wanted to run. He wanted to embrace her. He wanted to ask 100 questions, but the words froze. They always did when she was near. Maya finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't know if I could do this, to come back." Evan nodded, hollowing hard. I didn't expect, why now?" The tension stretched between them like a fragile rope. The river below seemed to echo every heartbeat. Maya took a step closer. "You deserve the truth," she said, "and maybe you don't want it." Evan's hands trembled slightly, but he didn't step back. He had waited for this moment without knowing it. And then she spoke the words that would twist his heart anew. "I never stopped loving you, but I was scared, and now I'm not sure if I can stay, or if I even should." For a long while they just stood there, two souls entwined in a moment they both feared. The wind tugged at their clothes, the bridge creaked gently beneath them, and the river moved as though urging them forward. Evan finally whispered, "I don't know if I can forgive, or if I want to lose you again." Maya's eyes glistened with tears. "But you have the choice, not me." And in that silent space between words, a new chapter began, one filled with uncertainty, heartache, and the fragile hope that some love might survive even when the heart trembles the most. They walked away from the bridge without deciding anything. Some conversations don't end with answers. They end with silence. The city felt different that morning, too loud, too alive, as if it didn't care that two hearts were standing on the edge again. They stopped near a quiet street where old buildings cast long shadows. Maya spoke first. "I didn't come back to hurt you," she said softly. "I came back because I ran before, and running doesn't make pain disappear." Evan listened, but listening hurt more than silence ever did. She took a deep breath. "There's something you don't know," she continued. His heart sank. Those words, they always came before destruction. They sat on a wooden bench beneath a dying tree. Leaves fell slowly around them, as if time itself was shedding weight. Maya stared at her hands. "I left because I was afraid of becoming nothing," she said. "Afraid of losing myself in love." Evan nodded slowly. He had told himself that story many times. It was the only one that made sense. But then she said it. There was someone else. The world didn't stop, but Evan did. The sound of traffic faded. The air felt thin. His chest tightened, as if something inside had collapsed quietly. She rushed to explain. "It wasn't what you think. It didn't start as love. It started as loneliness." Loneliness. The word echoed in his mind like a cruel joke. "You loved me," Evan whispered, "and still." Maya's voice broke. "I was lost, and someone offered me certainty when I felt empty." Evan closed his eyes. Every memory replayed itself differently now. Every goodbye, every unanswered message, every quiet night suddenly made sense. And somehow, that understanding hurt more than not knowing. "I didn't stay," Maya said quickly. "It didn't last, because my heart was never really there." Evan laughed softly, not because it was funny, but because something inside him finally gave up. "So why come back?" he asked. His voice was calm, but it felt far away. Maya looked up at him, tears finally falling. "Because I realized I ruined the only place I ever felt safe." Safe. The word felt heavy. Evan stood up slowly. He needed air. He needed distance. He needed to remember how to breathe. "I spent years learning how to live without you," he said quietly. "I taught myself how not to hope." Maya stood too, her hands shaking. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," she whispered. "I'm just asking you to know the truth." He nodded. "Truth doesn't heal. It only explains the pain." They stood there, two people connected by a past that no longer fit the present. Evan realized something terrifying in that moment. Some love doesn't end because it fades. It ends because it breaks too many times. And this time, the break felt deeper than ever before. Destroyed what little strength he had left. The sky had darkened by the time he reached his apartment. Rain began to fall softly, not loudly, not angrily, but patiently, as if the night itself understood what his heart could not say. Inside, the room felt unfamiliar. The same walls, the same furniture, but something was wrong. Hope had entered again, and now it was gone. Evan dropped his keys on the table. They echoed too loudly. He turned on a small lamp, its warm light barely touching the corners of the room. He sat on the edge of the bed. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from exhaustion. Loving someone again, even for a moment, had cost him more than he expected. The notebook lay where it always did. He hadn't touched it in months, not because he was afraid, but because he believed he no longer needed it. Tonight, he was wrong. He opened it slowly. Page after page carried words written by a younger version of himself, a version that still believed love could be safe. One page stopped him. Maya's handwriting, a sentence he had forgotten. "If love ever hurts too much, promise me you'll choose yourself." Evan laughed quietly, a dry, broken sound. "I tried," he whispered into the empty room. "I really tried." The rain outside grew heavier. Drops slid down the window like tears that didn't ask permission. Evan lay back on the bed, one arm covering his eyes. Breathing felt uneven now. Memories rushed in without warning. Her voice, her smile, the way she said his name when she was afraid. And then, the other words. There was someone else. That sentence replayed itself again and again and again. Not loudly, quietly. That was the cruelest part. Evan turned onto his side, curling in slightly, as if trying to protect something fragile inside him. He wasn't angry anymore. Anger required energy. What he felt now was something deeper. Disappointment, not in her, but in himself, for believing that love would return unchanged, for opening a door that had already hurt him once, for hoping. Outside, thunder rolled softly in the distance, not close enough to frighten him, just close enough to remind him that storms don't ask permission either. Evan whispered into the darkness, "Why does loving you still feel like home, even when it hurts this much?" No answer came, only the rain. Hours passed like seconds. Eventually, his breathing slowed, not because the pain was gone, but because the body always chooses survival. Tears dried on his skin. His chest still ached, but the sharpness had dulled. And in that quiet moment, Evan realized something painful. This heartbreak felt different. It wasn't sudden, it wasn't shocking, it was familiar. And familiarity made it heavier. As sleep finally pulled him under, one thought stayed with him. Some people don't break your heart once, they break it slowly, every time you believe they won't do it again.